So, Nick, I guess you're pretty excited. This is the end of our back to school month.
Never been to school, never gonna go again.
Never been. Never been at all.
Hey guys, it's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick, and your favorite final babysitter coming at you, Mike, coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slasher movies. This week we'll be finishing our back to school slasher month as we discuss 1987's Return to Horror High take at a look at 1987's Return to Horror High. As usual, Emily's got a VHS box that's going to do the same thing I did and repeat itself over and over. Kind of like the movie.
Loopin'.
5 years ago, a series of murders rocked Crippen High School. The killer was never found. Now the horror has returned. Harry Slerick, a producer from Cosmic Pictures, has come to Crippen High to make a movie in the very halls of the now abandoned school. It is a reunion of sorts with some of the original teachers and students returning to play themselves. But soon, history begins to repeat itself. Old fears become frighteningly real. Long-forgotten horrors are brought chillingly up to date. And unanswered questions lead to a mysterious tunnel, a macabre chamber, and an all-too-terrifying truth. 1979. What are your thoughts, Nick?
After I read the intro and hearing you read the back of that box, I think we both need to return to high school.
I know, true.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, well...
I can't talk good no mo.
Yeah.
I try read book.
I thought the movie was pretty good. I actually really did like it. I like the meta aspect of it, and like it reminded me a la Terra Firma, a la Troma. They did kind of the same thing, but I think it's like not a comedy of errors, but it's like that kind of whole like meta thing is like, never mind. I mean,
what'd you think of it? Who cares about me trying to wax fucking philosophical?
I hated it.
Why?
I think because even though it's not trauma, it felt very trauma.
Yeah. It did.
And I just hated it.
It was slapstick.
Also, it was an hour and a half, and this movie did not need to be an hour and a half.
You hated it because you're Jan Brady in disguise. Marsha.
Yeah, that's why. Because I was so mad that Marie McCormick was in it.
It's Cindy, grown up.
No, I just thought that there were a lot of times I was just like, what the fuck is going on and why? And like, ugh, this is dumb.
It's not a typical one though, and I like that about it.
And it wasn't, but I think an hour and a half also, ugh, too much. So, anyway, let's why don't you get us started, Mike?
All right. Well, this one, Return to Horror High, begins with a crawl, white on black.
Star Wars crawl.
In 1982, a series of brutal murders rocked Crippen High School. The killer was never apprehended.
I did like that opening.
3 months ago, Cosmic Pictures went to the town of Crippen to film the story of what actually happened, making the movie in the very halls of the now abandoned school. They were not alone. And one thing I really like here, it goes into the credits there, it says starring
in pieces
in parentheses, which I thought was really cute.
And I was like, hey, George Clooney, hey, Marsha, hey, Bobby from The Prey, hey, Alex Rocco, because I do like him. I really liked his character the whole time. I will say that was like one thing. Probably the only thing I liked about it was I liked his character.
When I saw that George Clooney was in it in the credits,
I liked that too.
I just screamed Clooney and ran outside for the rest of the movie.
The cast
around
my
neighborhood.
Cast is top notch.
He's in it. Clooney's in it.
Have you seen ER? Not the big one, the small one.
You haven't actually even seen them. You didn't watch the movie. You were just running around your neighborhood the whole time.
Yeah. This is gonna go great. Yeah. I'm gonna mention George Clooney through this whole fucking thing, and I'm also gonna mention the citation I got.
Was it like 15 minutes in when he died?
It was
Any time
13
keeping.
minutes.
Don't spoil it
13
for me. I was
minutes,
too busy running around.
Yeah, it was 13 minutes. Yeah.
So from the credits, we hear a siren at the very end. We see a Crippen police car, and we see Marsha Brady being asked by a detective how many. She says 6, 7, maybe 8. I guess they're all cut up in pieces. And one of the cops in the background is like, I found a shoe over here in the bushes.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch.
Is there anything in it?
But we've got Art, our only survivor. He's Arthur.
And
He's
he has
the
a
writer.
flashlight, and he's acting like a wild person. I don't know what he was.
He's
fucking
pretending
doing.
he's like camping, and he's 7 years old.
Yeah, he's like turning the flashlight on and off his face.
But he's the writer, and when asked by police what happened, he's like,
I don't know.
I have no idea what's going on. So,
But okay, so did you notice when it cuts now? So it cuts to like them making the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The director is actually played by, and because I was like, I know this guy. It's the same guy that played Dorothy's son in Golden Girls.
oh, I know him from, I recently watched The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, and he's
Oh.
like the crippled best friend.
I think he might.
Savior
Is
guy.
he in Bad Arnold or Bad
He
Ronald?
is.
Bad
He's
Ronald.
Bad Ronald,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But
Interesting facts seeping in.
But I like Golden Girls, so I was like, cool.
Well, we see a
George
policeman.
Clooney's looking good.
We see a policeman wandering the halls, and somebody flicks a lighter in his face to disorient him, I guess, or light a cigarette. And then he's attacked from behind. But it's a movie, so like this isn't really happening, or it did happen, but it's actors, and apparently he was the wrong policeman. This is Stephen Blake
Yeah, he's walked
He's a
into the
cop.
set.
from this real murder we
Is this
saw.
Clooney?
Well,
in the
no,
crawl.
he's a real cop now, but when the real murders happened, he was in high school.
He was a student.
Yeah, he was dating a girl named Kathy. So
Clooney?
But
no, the
So, yeah,
cop that
that's-
walks into the set.
that's Steve
Clooney's
Blake.
Okay.
Clooney's playing him.
The one-eyed...
But Clooney's not supposed to be playing him. He's supposed to be doing
The
something.
guy that
No,
attacks him
he's
says, I can't see through this makeup. And he thought it was George Clooney, but it was really this
Yeah.
actual cop
Clooney
dressed just like
before
George
he
Clooney.
quits. He quits in a minute, but
In a
they
real
really
Clooney, sexy
originally
way.
had this guy Stephen Blake, the cop, who's a cop now.
Yeah.
They just had him on set to be like to help because he was there when it happened,
Oh.
to be like an advisor or something.
Behind the camera, not in
But
front
he
of
ends
it.
up being in the movie because Clooney quits for something else.
Oh.
Well, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's pretty soon here.
So-
But we meet Josh, the director.
Dorothy's son.
Arthur, the writer, in situ in the actual story that Arthur is telling the police, I guess. The sleazy producer, Harry.
Love
who's
him. He goes, found me any local bimbos
Local
yet?
bimbos. He knows what's...
That's all he does the whole time. It's talk about tits and blood.
Yeah, he's... I think he's a real character, which is the point, right?
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's funny.
Then there's the crazy makeup guy, Robbie, who
Yeah.
has some exploding tit
Yeah,
effects
he
going
goes,
on.
"Are those your tits?" And she was like, "No, he made them."
And she
Which
pops,
is really funny.
she pops one of those bad boys off, throws it, and he's like, "Don't do that," and it explodes.
I also was thinking though, if this guy lived,
How do you not like this movie again?
I just didn't like it. But if
Yeah, I know. It's fucking
if
great.
you lived through, I don't know. It just seems like this guy might have PTSD, and maybe don't have him.
Who,
on
the
the
cop?
set. Yeah, it's like that's
That's 5
kinda-
years ago. He's fine.
Yeah, it's like okay. Seems
So
like
we
that might
find
not be the
out
best idea.
that somebody's the director Josh comes over and
he goes-
scolds Harry for canceling all the hotel rooms.
But
while
cause
he's on the phone.
he's like, well, we're gonna stay here, and then Josh is like, well, I don't want to go back to high school, and I'm like, well, I don't either, so I don't think any of us do.
I'd do it if I could start over.
Ew.
Make all the right decisions this time.
or better
I'm
mistakes.
gonna turn this thing around. Okay, so
Should have fucked old what's her name.
everyone is going to be staying at the school. There's no hotel rooms, and this is when we find out. Oh, George Clooney Oliver is leaving because he just landed the lead role in an action adventure series.
Yeah.
Well, that's just found footage of Clooney deciding to succeed in life. He
Right.
left the movie.
And at the same time, because this was his first feature film, although he had been in the Facts of Life and stuff,
Yeah.
he'd been in TV shows, but
Facts of Life.
it seems like
Facts of
every
Life.
time Arthur comes up to Josh, the director, with any kind of script, he's like, nope. And I'm like, so basically they have no working script. That's what it seems like. You know, like it just.
Do you like that
because-
effect?
Yes. But every time he comes up, he's like, nope, nope. And I'm like, so you don't have a script, basically.
Arthur, come on.
Well,
Get
isn't
on
that how
top of it.
movies kind of work all the time?
I mean, I think they have more of a
thankless
script
job.
than this one did, but I don't know. Half the time I
It
didn't
was
know.
like constant rewrites and just madness, and somehow we get some kind of turd that's okay.
Well, that happened in The Shining, I think, a lot.
So we see Harry yelling at his assistant Peter.
Oh, this part's
to go
hilarious.
for corned beef on rye. Not
No,
from the truck.
before that, he says that he wants an interview. He's like, find out if I can get this interview with somebody. And he's like, if she's pretty, bring her flowers. If she's fat, just dump some candy on her.
As sleazy as this fucking guy is, I really like his embodiment of like Hollywood fucking terrible, like just everything bad.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Fuck
Weinstein,
yeah.
Weinstein 80s edition.
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah, and I noticed that until I saw her haircut, because she had a towel on her head for the first 30 minutes of the
First
movie.
30 minutes. of the
That's
movie.
racist.
Callie
No.
was looking better than she did in The Prey, I thought.
Yeah.
But I did. But
Few
then
years
when
later.
when the towel came off her head, I was like, that haircut.
When she was Sarah, she was hot.
yeah, when she
Same
yeah,
lady. She was
when
like
she
four
was
different
Susan,
ladies.
she was hot too.
Yeah, Susan.
But when
the
she
new
was
girl.
just her own self, like that haircut.
I think that's a great
When we
subplot
saw
that she
the
was
real
hired
her.
to play three
Yeah.
different women in different wigs.
Yeah.
When she let us in and we snubbed her.
So you said Oliver's off to bigger and better things.
So he goes upstairs and he starts hearing a squeaking
IRL.
noise. He decides to investigate, which a lot of people in this movie do decide to go investigate things.
13 minutes into the movie.
So there's this creepy hallway with like hands sticking out of the wall. It's a nice decoration. Can't wait for Halloween.
They're
It's
like a
August.
yellow, like they're like rubber, like cleaning gloves almost.
Yeah. So there's this door that has like a blood streak. So he starts looking at the blood and he opens the door and it's dripping down and somebody grabs him and all these doors have little windows in them. And it's kind of like
Well, they're like classrooms.
what do you call the door window?
A window.
Peephole?
in the-
Is that a peephole? Peepholes are really small.
No, it's just a window in a door.
glory
I
hole?
don't know. It's not a.
Well,
It's just like a big one.
I'm going to be saying door
So you get all
window
the
a
hair?
lot during
That's
this
fine. You
review.
can just say
Alright,
door.
yeah.
So the door window, we see George Clooney's face getting smeared on it, and then we hear a thunk, and then some blood comes out from underneath the door.
And then it cuts
George Clooney's dead.
to Harry being hilarious because he's like, tits and blood, trust me, basically.
Yeah, Harry. He's always thinking about, and do it in the shower.
Yeah.
So we
Always.
can see them. That's what the people want. He's just giving the people what they
You
want.
can't get pregnant if you're in the shower. And you're wearing socks.
You can't get pregnant.
That's not true.
In
Fast
your
Times at
boobs.
Ridgemont High.
So we see Blake getting talked into playing himself by Harry, who he tells the director's idea, and then he immediately talks to the director and says, "Oh yeah, we've got this great idea. We're gonna have Stephen replace Oliver." So Stephen Blake is going to be played by Stephen Blake in our fictional film within a film.
Well, no, he's going to be playing the cop. So he's not playing himself.
Okay, it's based on him.
It's all so meta.
But
Then we see the killer mopping up the blood, and there's a tooth.
not very well.
Blood mopping and scuzz bopping, dude.
It's just smearing
A
blood
little bit of
around.
squeaking.
And then it cut. I think the
Arthur's
reason.
talking to the police again.
I think the reason I didn't like this movie is because I didn't understand what the fuck these cutscenes were.
What's Arthur telling the story?
Listen, Emily, this is high art, and we asked you what you thought about the movie at the beginning of the fucking podcast.
And she's and
There's some serious sexual tension between the detective and Marsha.
I
Brady.
did like that she was like slurping that drink
She looked
really
great
loud.
in this, by the way. Like,
She's just like
how old
slurping
is
her
she?
drink and rubbing
In
like blood all over
1987.
herself.
Doesn't matter, brother.
But I
Come
was just
on.
like, what
How
the
old do you want her to be?
I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Marsha.
But we're about to meet Amos.
Old enough.
Oh yeah, this is where the bodies are all mixed up. They think they see one of the bodies moving. And then we see the janitor Amos, and he's telling someone that
No, he's telling Steven.
He's telling Steven
that he wants to. He's like, I'm gonna do pussy films.
Yeah, he's like,
Hell
you mean
yeah, dude.
porn? He said he's got this big 10
10-inch
inches.
dick,
and he
yeah.
keeps hollering about his big 10 inches for a little while.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I would too. Then we see Castleman, the fly-catching principal. Callie comes to him to talk about motivation.
And she's
stuff.
still wearing that damn robe and a
So
towel.
I guess not much time has passed.
No.
You get past some of those continuity errors from some of the other back to school slashers we've seen. Just keep her in the towel. So the principal's telling her about how there was this nose nailed to the floor.
Yeah, which
and
I was
just
like,
imagine
what?
eyeballs on a string in that corner. And he has her go to the closet, and she opens it. Supposedly going to use her imagination, and there's this awesome decapitated head dripping acid and sludge, but it pisses off Robbie, who is the makeup man, because his effect was ruined, all for naught.
And then Castleman's like talks about having, I don't know, he like has some kind of PTSD, but Robbie just like rolls his eyes at him, which I thought was fucking hilarious. He just goes whatever and then just walks away.
Is this special effects dude the like proto Cumberbatch, like low rent Benedict Cumberbatch look?
I can see that. He was in The Running Man.
Oh, okay, so that's the dude.
Yeah, he's not Yaphet Kotto, but he's on Arnold's squad.
Oh yeah.
And then this is when I started getting really confused, but then it ended up being part of the movie.
Yeah. We see Sherry getting manhandled, for lack of better words, and one of the guys goes, tag team, 2 out of 3 falls. Whenever I get a 80s wrestling reference, I'll take it, But it's Richard Farley and Choo Choo, who I've written down as headband, because they never really say his name.
Yeah, his name is Choo Choo, though.
Is that short for like Chewy?
I don't know.
Choo Choo. Well, I guess long. But they're throwing her around and touching her butt and stuff, and she just giggles and runs off.
Pussy on wheels.
They see the newish girl, Sarah, who again is just Lori
It's
Letton.
just
One of her
Callie.
many Lori Letton.
Callie plays like 3 different characters in this
Prey
movie,
fame.
which was funny because in the classroom scene they had a bunch of actors. So I was like, the necessity for her playing 4 different characters doesn't seem authentic because they have tons of.
I found
people
this
in that.
wig and outfit combo to be the most alluring. She looked great when they
As
first see her.
Sarah Walker?
As Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's walking up. Farley goes over there because they've made a bet that he can get her wet panties or something like
Yeah,
that.
he said, I'll bring you the wet panties even. Or
And
something.
he chases her he follows her into the girls' locker room.
He does chase her.
He chases her.
He wants,
But,
he
I
wants
think
that squirrel skin.
Much like Harry, the sleazy producer in the movie, the director of this movie is like, we can get a couple more racks in if we just go into the girls' locker room.
This is how movies are made, people.
They
I do think, though, that she does look to be. I think especially when he takes her, he does get her on a date, but she looks like a teacher.
I think
She looks like she's between. No, she's pretty, but she looks like she's between 35 and 45. She doesn't look like she's in high school at all.
Are you surprised by that at this point?
No, but she does that, and he says she has a bitchin' bod.
That is the oldest looking
anyone ever
17-year-old I've ever seen.
I can dig it.
An old looking 17-year-old?
No, that's not what I meant. I meant that I'm glad that she's older because
She's wise
I find
beyond
her
her years.
attractive.
Trust
Kind
me.
of like how Steve Harrington, when I looked up his age, and
Jesus.
he's like 31 now.
Oh, yeah.
So he
he's
is
legal.
He was legal when in the first season. He was like 25 or something.
Old Dick Farley is really pushing hard for this date, and the only way that he gets her to agree is he grabs Becky and throws her over this naked woman over his shoulder, and he says, "If you don't go on the date with me, I'm gonna take Becky out into the hallway naked." And she's like, "Fine, I'll go on a date with you, dude."
I'm just like,
Becky's
ugh.
been naked in the hallway plenty. Jeez.
Yeah, she was kind of squealing.
This part kind of was. Oh, no. I was like, this is not okay, but okay.
Yeah, it gets less okay here.
Yeah,
at the
know.
lovers' lane.
Oh, I know.
Sarah's obviously not into it at the beginning, and she doesn't get more into it. She's like, "Is it Richard or is it Dick? Take me home." But things go downhill, and it's getting more and more downhill But then Harry busts in saying, Can you see her tits? Because we got to have more flesh in this picture.
And he's like 1750 for sex. Nobody hits one of the trolls.
That's the thing I love
Nobody
about this
hits
movie.
one of the trolls.
I think
I skipped some of the detail because it was getting gnarly.
But Harry does say basically like rape sells tickets.
Dude,
But I mean, they basically
beyond that point, I'm not trying to like make a point about that, but I think that's what I love the most about this movie is like every time something starts getting kind of weird, or you start like getting involved, they're like cut, god damn it, and it's like it's really fucking cool.
And then, but even though he does say that, he is hilarious with money. I thought.
Oh yeah.
But
the best part of the whole scene is she's talking about how women have it hard in the industry. And how would you like to walk around with your schlong out? And she said, in your case, it's actually a schlort.
yeah,
I had never heard schlort before.
That's awesome.
I did like that
fucking love
part
it.
because I was like, well, finally someone's fucking standing up for this
As
shit.
a proud owner of a schlort, I approve.
Schlorts for life.
But I was like, because her standing up and saying something was kind of rare for the time period.
It was a nice addition.
And
Because
I'm glad that
good,
went away.
Emily. This movie's pretty good.
I'm glad that trend faded.
I'll take it over night school
I'm
and final
kidding.
exam any day.
I wouldn't. But
Would you take
anyway.
it over night court?
But not Splatter University.
No. No.
Absolutely not.
Harry Anderson, here I come.
Speaking of Harry,
I just
we
saw
see
him in-
Harry popping some
I just
pills
saw
in the
him in
hallway.
something.
They're probably just aspirin, but he takes some pills in the hallway. And then a crew member says that he didn't get his check. Harry blames it on his secretary. Then an extra, it seems like.
It's an extra.
He's an
yeah.
extra, and he's really thinking Harry, and he wants to get more work. And Harry's like, I'll talk to you later. And then Harry sees Arthur, and he's talking about the script, and we see the guy,
The extra.
get pulled in by the gloved hand.
And then we see a shadow of an axe and then a head being decapitated.
door window.
But it's just a shadow.
Silhouettes.
And that's at 32 minutes, by the way. So
Okay, so then we get Steve Blake and Callie flirting next to a
Locker.
that has Stephen and Kathy in a heart.
yeah, he's
But
like, this was my locker.
But then they notice that there's an arrow through Steve's name. Dun, dun,
And he's like, it wasn't even here. She was like, oh, that could have happened. And he was like, no, that wasn't even. I looked earlier today and it wasn't there. Someone's put that there recently. So
I looked at this stupid fucking heart I made with both of our names in it earlier today, and what a fucking loser.
and then
was 5 years ago,
but
right?
then Callie's like, yeah, something. But Callie's immediately like, whoever did the killings is back because they like it. And I'm like, okay, well, you're a creep, and that's like a pretty wild accusation to just come to because there's an arrow through his name, like. And okay, Oliver was leaving, so that's not really weird that he's dead,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have noticed the extra.
extra
So
just happened.
okay, whatever. But then I saw, yo, choo choo.
Choo Choo sees some kind of screw.
Yeah, it's
and
like a weird
on a string,
bolt.
and he's not really catching on that somebody's tricking him. But the screw goes to this weird sandbox, and he starts digging around the sandbox, and
The glove hand.
the glove hand starts throttling him and pulling him down. And then Dick.
I said, what the fuck is his trauma at that point? So.
But,
It very much is like
Richard
a
Farley comes in. He's the guy he had the bet with,
And feet.
And the feet are dangling. He almost sees it, but he goes over to the sandbox as well, and somehow blood is flowing up towards his face. I was a little blazed during this part.
He's hung upside down in a pulley trap, and then
there would normally be a sleeping bag there.
yeah, but then this steel industrial fan comes at him.
That's the fan I wish was next to my bed.
Yeah. And
Keep it on high, mama.
yeah, and I guess
Cut.
yeah. Well, no, it supposedly kills him.
Does
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
See, I thought...
He's counted as a death.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought he was cutting and saying the director says there's too much blood, and Harry really likes it. Harry and Josh argue about how much gore
No, he's counted
It's
as
supposed to be.
he is counted as a death. So
Really?
yeah,
Chewie and Richard are
Choo Choo
really dead.
and Choo Choo and Choo Choo and
I had no idea.
And,
I thought they were actors. Are they not two
Richard
of the
Farley.
actors that get up later?
they are, but they're counted as kills in the kill count because
Okay.
they're
This sounds
they're
like some
killed.
April Fool's Day
they're-
stuff
it
to me.
is.
Yeah.
No, it totally is. But I still count them in the kill
It's a
count.
kill scene.
It's still a kill sequence. Yeah.
Yeah. I can get behind that.
And
All right.
yeah, they're like talking about Kathy, and Steve's talking about Kathy, and I'm like, ooh, what happened to her? And he said he didn't sleep with another girl for 2 years after that.
Yeah, this
And
is like weird sex talk, man.
then I
Like,
just wrote, do we know that Kathy
And
was
then,
her dad yet?
then there's
But
some
no, we
squeaking.
don't.
like, why would you talk about that?
There was a little ominous squeaking.
I
We
didn't
see,
sleep with a girl for who cares? Who gives a fuck, loser?
Yeah, I don't care. This
Jesus.
is weird. But it's back to Arthur explaining shit to the cop, and
Yeah.
I was like, and I wrote also, what the fuck, Marsha? Because I think
She's
that's when
covered in blood at this point.
she's like rubbing the blood all over herself.
But she has the bag with the hand that is
Yeah.
holding a sandwich, the ice cream sandwich.
Something. It's
something.
stupid.
Made me hungry. That's when I went and got some catfish.
Yeah.
Then it comes to
Captain Jack,
this.
Captain
Okay.
Jack's free commercial.
This,
Reppin'.
when it comes to this biology class scene, though, like this is the
This
longest
is
scene
just for the
of
movie,
my
right?
life.
So there's a dissection lecture going on. A student, Donnie Porter, is sleeping. So the professor decides he's going to open a jar of formaldehyde and waft the fumes into his face to awaken him.
Donnie's huffing again.
And
He's
he
always been
tells-
weak towards the huff.
He tells Donnie that he will be extinct like the Donnie bird, the dodo bird.
This
The-
is what
the
I
Donnie
wrote.
bird.
This is what I wrote right
Shut up,
before
Bird
anything happened. I wrote, "Man, this movie's too confusing for a fucking slasher. What the fuck were they trying to do? Oh, here's Callie playing another character.
Yeah,
cool.
Susan
Why?
came in. I missed
What
it.
the fuck is this scene? Ugh, it's so long. Why is this movie over an hour and a half?" Also, Porter is a freak of nature. Okay.
I want to talk more about the Donnie Bird. The Donnie Bird is actually the only good thing on the menu down at Rooster's Bar and Grill off North Shore. I just
Never
want to
been.
tell you guys that.
That's too far out west for me. That's East Nashville.
No, yeah, go
brother.
get a Donnie Bird.
I thought this scene was just gross. And
So-
Birnbaum is gross.
So yeah, Birnbaum
That's the teacher.
pulls Susan to the side and is telling her to come visit him at night. And this other girl comes in, and
She's like, "Can I come see you at night?"
He's like, "No, you're old news." And she's like, "Don't worry, he finishes fast."
Yeah, she tells Susan, if you want to get a good grade,
that
come
in
at
the movie?
night. Don't worry, he doesn't last long. And then I just wrote, whatever, I don't care. I said, is this part of the movie? I don't care.
So I think we see
Is
Stephen
this part
Blake.
of the movie? I don't care.
Stephen Blake is investigating the death of Sherry and Richard, who I guess died off screen. Oh, Richard's the fan guy. Okay.
Yeah, Richard and Choo Choo,
Cut.
you mean.
There's a cut, and then there's a skull aquarium. I think we're back in the lab where there's a dead frog named Freddy. Donnie doesn't want to dissect it. Susan's like, hey, he
Yeah,
doesn't want
frog
to dissect it. The Birnbaum's like, shut up. And then we see Birnbaum in his classroom at night, and he thinks that Susan is coming in. But we hear that squeaking, and there's this weird dissecting of Birnbaum scene by a man in a mask. I wrote
Which-
down the song was cool.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. And then it goes, cut. It's part of the movie.
He nails him to the table, cuts off his t-shirt, and then just starts pulling out his heart.
But it's a part of the movie.
Yeah, it's part of the movie.
So then it cuts
Cut.
to like Harry trying to do anything to promote the movie,
Well, there's
which
also,
is important at the end. But
Yeah. But also, at some point here, Steve and Callie decide they're going to go start investigating and taking
Yeah.
notes on everybody.
that's when I wrote, oh, so Callie and Steve are on the case. Cool. But, like, also,
this.
that's when they figure out, soon after that, after there's a scene with Harry, they figure out that Steve
Harry's on the phone in
Steve
the
finds
shitter.
out that his old girlfriend was the principal's daughter, and I was like, you didn't know that before? Like, you never knew that? And then
he sees
also...
a photo of Kathy in
Yeah,
Castleman's
but then after that, we see
classroom.
Arthur, and then Arthur's like, well, I went here too. And I'm like, what the fuck
He
is
also tells-
happening?
He tells Steve that his daughter is at grad school.
Yeah. But then it cuts to Arthur, and he's like, I went to school here too. And I'm like, God, I don't know what's happening.
And then it cuts to a dead-looking guy, and he says, "What's my motivation?" to the director, and the director's like, "You're dead."
Oh, yeah, I did like that.
That show is hilarious.
I did like that.
I
That,
like
that
Dylan.
director is like the fucking the best character in the movie, and he's used sparsely.
He's always so frustrated.
But then,
He's really
then
good.
it's
No,
back
he's really
to...
good. And he's the only one who knows it. All of it sucks.
And then it's back to Callie and Steve on the case, and then he kind of implicates himself, but whatever. I was like, whatever, glad you're in love now.
Yeah, they made that conspiracy theory board real quick.
Oh, yeah. Like,
That's what reminded me of was Charlie.
The lighting
Charlie from
and-
Always Sunny.
there's that weird...
Oh yeah.
Something's happening outside, like there's some
Welding.
weird lighting.
They're welding
Yeah, and I was
something.
like, what in the fuck? And then
Well, there's sparks about to fly because
They're about to
Callie and
fuck.
Steve have a very long sex scene. Well, that's not really sex. It's like 80s love making.
yeah.
I think at this point is whenever I stopped taking notes and I was just enjoying the ride.
That's always a good point.
But then they
This is
get-
fucking great.
Post coitus, we hear the squeaking. That means after the sex.
Post coitus.
yeah.
Post coitus. Yeah, we hear the
I thought that was a part on a
squeaking.
car.
I guess it's supposed to be like the janitor's mop bucket. We hear that, and Steve goes to investigate the noise. Callie wakes up and sees that he's gone. And Steve comes back and saying, "They're on to us. We know too much." And we see the mask in the door window or whatever that thing's called. And Amos, wait,
No.
no.
This is all a dream.
Yeah, it's a dream.
Whatever.
Like,
Because I wrote,
Steve
okay,
dies,
all that
it's
was
a
a
dream.
goddamn stupid dream. I hate this.
Oh, yeah. She gets chased, jumps out of the window, and then she gets in a car and Amos cuts off her head. She awakes at that point.
Yeah, and it was a dream.
Poor
and then
Amos.
they're like, "Oh, we see blood," and I'm like, "Oh, on a horror movie set, gasp!"
Yeah, they wake up. There's actually blood outside
Also,
of the room.
nice fucking onesie, which also, by the way, changes.
But then
into-
Steve gets his gun and guess what they do? They investigate some more.
She's in a onesie, but in a second, she's not. She's in a whole
should have
different.
just left that towel on.
Yeah, she's in like a sweater and jeans and boots.
So
And
they walk down this
so-
hallway for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It's a long,
Yeah.
spoopy hallway. So, and then he kicks a bunch of doors. Finally, they find
In
a
the
bloody
bathroom.
A bloody bathroom stall.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know. I guess they must have cut up the body and flushed it down the
Flushed
toilet.
it.
I was like, oh,
He says
really?
they flushed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I think that would really not stop up a toilet. Like, yeah,
Oh, no,
obviously
no,
they cut this body up.
Dude,
and
there's a way you can use a plunger. Trust me, you can get anything down that motherfucker.
and I was like,
Like
and
a
then,
human
and then
body.
someone,
Even that, dude.
someone says
skull?
something about.
No, some of the things that came out of me, I wish I would have dealing with a human body.
Woof.
Someone
Shit.
said something. Someone said something about someone named Freddie, and I'm like, who the
Yeah,
fuck
Freddie
is
is
Freddie?
the first AD. He's the assistant
I was like,
director.
who the hell's
He was like a
he?
black guy at the beginning that was
Oh,
like,
that
trying
guy.
to talk to
Okay,
the
yeah,
director.
okay, yeah.
But they find his bling, and then we see Bloody Marsha. They cut to the cops again, and they're identifying Freddie. Bloody Marsha is.
She's
eating-
pretty funny in this scene.
No, I think Marsha is one of the best parts of this.
Yeah,
movie.
she's funny throughout. Arthur's whatever. He's very eye rolly. Like,
Arthur, yeah.
like everything he does, I'm just like, okay.
I think the whole movie's eye rolly, and that's the point of it.
So at this point, the cops are like, "We're gonna do a room-to-room search," and Art's like, "You'll make them mad." And in the other, so we cut back to Steve and Callie, and they're like, "Let's do a room-to-room search." It's like, okay, the worlds are syncing up.
And then they find at 1 hour and 11 minutes, they find Harry and Josh's heads.
I thought it was Robbie and Josh.
No, it's Josh and Harry. It's just Josh.
There was a third head.
No, it was
underneath.
just Josh and Harry.
Well, where's Robbie? Okay.
I don't know,
Josh and
but
Harry,
it's just Josh and Harry.
The big wigs, their heads are on a table, which they're obviously their bodies are underneath.
Yeah.
I know
And
some
I
of
was
these
like,
magic tricks.
I was like, cool. There's 34 minutes to find heads killed off.
They follow a blood
It
trail
took 34 minutes
to the tunnel
two
of the
heads.
sand pit.
With 23
And-
fucking minutes left, and I fucking
Yeah,
hate this.
there was a lot
That's
of
what I
time.
said.
Then they have to get the
Easy.
flashlight.
Oh, and that's at that point. That's where
Let me get a
Callie has
flashlight.
changed from. She had on a onesie, and now she has on a sweater, jeans, and boots.
And this really pissed Emily off.
Continuity.
At
just
least the
saying.
raccoon didn't steal her makeup.
That's true.
That's the word.
That's true. At least there wasn't that shit in between. But then,
Meerkat.
then they find this. They go back to that sand tunnel. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, let me go back to that sand tunnel.
They got to
girl.
make sure they have a gun and a flashlight. So
Yeah.
they go down here, and there's a
That's all you need.
spider that scares Callie. And
Shoot it.
So she falls, and they both fall. She gets scared by the spider. Somehow the stairs just break. They fall. He drops the gun and goes flying.
It doesn't go that far.
It looked like there was a magnet at the bottom. just
It
went
didn't look
shoo.
like it went that far, and he's like, I can't find it. And I'm like, just take a few fucking steps.
So
and
then
there's a
Ca-
gross rat.
Freaking out without my gun,
Then
man.
they see a rat on a noose, and Callie freaks out again.
That was gross.
Which causes Steve to find a hidden door because that's what
Obviously.
he was trained to do.
I was like, what? I was like, oh, a secret door. What else
is where
will
they
this
find-
movie have? And then I said, I don't care.
This is where they find the room with what I call the corpse congregation.
Yeah, which,
It's like
by the
a
way,
bunch of dead bodies.
yeah, and I was
We call
Sad.
them elders in my family.
Okay, well
so
the elders.
these are all the corpses from the original killings, but
Was it that many?
they're
They
all
never said.
but they're all wearing dresses. So I'm like,
The
I don't-
elders will do as
did
they will do.
Did he kill just? And I was like,
I think he killed everybody that reminded him of his daughter. Oh wait, did I spoil it? It's Castleman, the
yeah.
principal.
Well,
Is he a
okay, wait. At
principal?
first,
Is
it's
he a
okay.
principal? I don't even know.
Okay, first, what happens is Amos is down there, and
Yeah.
Amos gets in a fight. He's like, oh, it's Amos is the killer, and he starts fighting with Stephen Blake.
But he says something like they're all Castleman's daughter.
Yeah, or whatever.
When Stephen asks if Kathy's there, that's
As
well,
the elders
but,
to create.
but
Amos-
Amos
He
is
turns
there
his back-
first.
Stephen turns his back to Amos, and then Amos attacks him. And they have a wicked fist fight, including Stephen punching Amos in the balls, and he goes, "My jewels!"
And then
But then he's all right.
and then Stephen takes in the fight somehow. Amos's face turns into a latex mask
He
that
straight-
comes off,
He straight Scooby-Doo rips that thing off.
and it's
Like Fred.
Castleman.
It's
like that's
Castleman, yeah.
wow.
I would have gotten away with it too.
But Stephen goes, "You honky."
Yeah, he does.
It's
I
you.
wrote that. Yeah, I was like,
Castleman's
that
you,
makes
you
sense.
honky.
He killed his kid. That makes sense.
So somehow,
Fucking Tristan.
somehow Castleman gets up and he starts making Woody Woodpecker noises while he's taking Catherine hostage with a straight razor.
And he's explaining that he killed Kathy because Kathy.
He's saying teacher stuff too, like "Get to your seat."
Yeah, but
Mr.
he's like, basically, he killed Kathy because she got pregnant with Steven's baby, so he killed her. And then I
No,
wrote.
no, she says
Sounds
that
like Law and Order SVU.
Castleman says, "Stephen, you killed her because you got
Oh,
her
yeah,
pregnant,
yeah.
and she died giving herself an abortion."
But he
Which
he
is
killed
Sounds
probably
even
a
more
lie.
like
And
Law
then I
Order.
wrote, I can't make heads or tails of this bullshit plot or motive. I don't.
Let's see if I can.
And then there's a wedding ceremony stupidity that he's gonna make Steven get married to
Yeah.
Corpse Kathy, and
He
then
ties Callie up, and she's going to be the maid of honor to his
maiden
dead-
maiden of honor.
Maiden of honor.
I was like, that's
to
rude.
his dead daughter.
And Stephen Blake's like, nah, I don't care. It's Monday Night Football, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
he's like he's not playing them anymore. He's like, I'm gonna go watch Monday Night Football. The Steelers are playing the Raiders, and Callie's like, "Are you like gonna leave me?" And she said, "I'll
this
kill
is
her."
what it's like to date me.
He says, "I'll kill her," and he says, "I don't care. She hates football anyway."
Yeah.
So, but then it's just a ruse, and Steven
Grab the javelin.
Yeah, he spears.
He javelins him.
Is it straight javelin?
Yeah.
I guess so. It's a
Yeah.
gem, I guess.
He javelins him into the wall, and then she's
And it says
like,
class dismissed.
and she's like, I thought you were gonna leave me. And he's like, no, I hate football.
But she looks mad at that. I thought it was kind of fun.
And then I
I'd be
was
pretty
like,
pissed too.
I was like, what the fuck? No
so
one.
then Arthur's talking to the cops and he says they never got out.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck does that?
The
What the fuck
detective
does that
grabs
mean?
an M16 and he's like, cover up those bodies, Marsha.
So that all the cops go into the school, and at this moment, this happens.
Go to the basement.
So, did anybody also catch through this movie that Marsha's trying to fuck the detective?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
we already
like,
talked about that.
You did?
Yeah.
There's
I
something
knew
that
the
says like
blood.
up
There was
against
sexual
it.
tension, yeah.
But he never noticed.
No, they
No,
always
he
fuck.
didn't never notice.
He was way too busy
No,
being
he was into it
homophobic.
too.
Oh, I think he didn't notice.
Arthur didn't notice.
No, I don't think the detective noticed.
I
either.
know.
You guys are going to have to rewatch
But
this one.
what? So when the cops all go into the school and find the corpses
Arthur comes back
downstairs,
out. Arthur
then
sneaks
he's
out
like,
and he says,
"All clear,
all clear," and the corpses are all the actors. And they get up and they say, I guess everybody's congratulating Harry for making this work, and he said it wouldn't have worked if Steve and Callie hadn't figured out that Castleman was the original killer. So they've got Castleman down there, javelin to the wall, like about to take the rep for everything. Robbie says, for some reason, he's in his van. He's like, "Next time for real," which I did not understand at all. But here, Castleman, again, another thing I don't understand is Castleman unimpales himself
Yeah.
and runs at the cops only to get shot down not once but twice. They
Twice.
shoot the shit out of him and say self-defense.
I was like, well, good job figuring out Castleman was the OG killer, I guess, but what the fuck? I'm so sure that he survived this. And also, by the way, I know the film crew gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
Like, they like, they bounce
They
out.
booked it.
But it doesn't matter. Wouldn't they be in a shit ton of fucking trouble for doing this?
It was the 80s.
Like,
They probably didn't get any
and it
phone
also
numbers or anything.
would have been nice to have some backstory of who died in the original massacre.
Yeah. we
Or
just know that it
anything.
happened. We don't even know how many people died.
No,
Apparently a congregation.
a lot. Enough to be in a, well, I guess.
It's still not over yet.
But then then the cops come out and there's no one out there, and the detective's just like a good detective, I guess, says some sicko must have carted them away.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm so sure
they
that's what
decide that
happened.
they're just going to tell more lies and say that nothing happened. And he said, I should have taken that NYPD job. New
that's-
York can't be as bad as all this.
Well, I was like, they'll never figure this one out when the fucking movie comes out.
To cop
Yeah.
or not to cop.
So then we hear a fly buzzing around. It's like, oh, is that the principal?
It cuts
Nope.
back to Arthur.
It's Arthur. He snaps that fly just like his daddy.
And well, we don't know that yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
spoil it?
there's a picture next to him, and he picks it up, and it's a picture of Castle. Is it a picture of Castleman or is it a picture of Kathy? I can't remember. But he turns and he goes, "Oh, hey, Dad."
hey, Dad.
And then I wrote, "What the fuck? I hate this."
And he's
That's the end of the movie.
well, he's typing Return to Horror High. He's writing it, and he's like, they always do sequels. And, yeah, it's over.
So I guess his dad is still alive.
I want to see Return. Is it Return to Horror High 2 or Horror High 3?
There's not a sequel.
I know. This is
No.
not a sequel.
And this is not there is a Horror High, but it's not a sequel to
There's
Horror
Horror
High.
Hotel.
But
Up to room 21.
So-
Can I ask you guys something real fast? Did the versions you watch have previews for Transylvania
No.
6500 and
No.
fucking
65,000.
65,000? Sorry, and the movie House.
No, I watched
wish.
it.
Mine
You
did,
had
and it
my
was
copy.
awesome.
I watched it on Amazon.
I know.
So there is
Tubi for me. Wait, Tubi.
Tubi.
there is a kill count. Not really, but there was one in April Fool's Day too. So I'm
Sure,
gonna go
yeah,
through
yeah.
it.
Oh, April
it's
Fool's
very
Day
similar.
Part 2. I've
But
seen April Fool's Day
so
Part 2.
one, and actually
That's
we
what I
never
was-
saw Oliver, so he might have actually gotten killed.
Oh, you know, I never thought about that.
Because-
No, he had to go to the series. There was
Yeah,
definitely...
but he still gets attacked when he's leaving to go do the series.
So Clooney totally
So
got
he
killed,
wouldn't have been
right?
part of like the people that
part of
are
the
laying
movie.
down.
Is it a movie within a...
But Clooney
Is
got
it a
killed
movie
for
within-
real, right?
I don't know.
What about the
I love
extra?
that.
I'm
about
not
this
sure,
movie.
but okay. So
Well, I know he didn't really get killed because ever since I've known about him, I've had this boner, and I wish he would die.
He was so dreamy and
I don't want to be hard
from
anymore.
dusk till dawn.
so one
The
we
Gecko
have
Brothers.
Oliver at 13 minutes. That's George Clooney. He gets pushed
Sick.
up against the door, maybe stabbed. Not really sure how that one.
Killed like Dick.
Then at 32 minutes,
You remember Dick?
I know all about Dick.
No,
19 minutes later, we
That
have the
go away?
extra whose axe hacked and head decapitated as a shadow. Then 35 minutes, that's 3 minutes later, we have Choo Choo, who's choked into a sand pit. Then 37 minutes as Richard Farley's hung and dragged into a steel blade industrial fan. Then we have to wait 34 minutes until we see Harry and Josh's heads. And then the last death, which is the only real one, is 12 minutes later, and that's Castleman. He's javelined. There is not much trivia for this movie.
Well, he's machine gun after that, right?
Yeah, he's javelined in the machine gun. But so it was George Clooney's first feature film, and the budget was $1 million, and it grossed $1,189,709. So I don't know how it fucking made a profit, honestly.
This movie's awesome.
It was great.
I gave it 0.25 stars out of 5. The lowest I have ever given a movie.
Good Lord. You think they're going to mess with
Maybe I'll go up to a 0.5, but I did not like it at all. I just didn't. It's not my thing.
Have a heart. This movie's fucking awesome.
Well, I don't care. So, what'd you give it?
I wrote down 5 stars, but after reviewing it or whatever, I'm gonna give it a fucking 4.5. It was really fucking good, and I like that kind of a weird filmmaking. Where,
you like trauma.
Yeah, but also I like that it was like this like whole like every time you got involved with the character, they went cut. And I was like, that's the shit. I think you couldn't tell what was a movie and what wasn't.
I think I was just like,
wonderful.
4.5?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going 3.5, a straight eighth on that ass.
Yeah, dude, it was really good. I was very surprised. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
It's so different than most horror movies I've seen.
It's very original.
I'll give it that. And I may, now that we've talked about it, I might go up to a 1. But, I still didn't like it. But I did like Harry.
The score was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did like Harry, and I did like
I like that
Marsha, Officer Taylor.
It had a sense of humor, like that. Her dynamic with the detective or whatever. It was just like this is fucking ridiculous.
The Stephen and Callie, I might have given it more stars if there had been less of Stephen and Callie.
Yeah, they had a great cast. They should have relied on.
Because I really liked the scenes with Harry and
Harry's
with
great.
Josh, with the director.
Robbie's great.
I liked all the. I didn't like the scene with Richard Farley and
Callie was my least favorite of her iterations.
Yeah.
Why couldn't she have been Sarah more?
If there had been more of the movie making,
for me.
or even more scenes with the detective and Marsha Brady,
yeah,
I would have liked it more. But there was too much Callie and
there was
Steve
lots of good sandwich eating in this one.
Yeah, so
lots of boobs.
Stay gagged on.
Wait!
Do you have some trivia?
Got some notes about some of the actors. Like I mentioned, I enjoyed them. Arthur.
Anyway, stay gagged on it.
Oh, come on, man. We got Marsha Brady, of course, and I'm not going to talk about Clooney, but Callie.
Alex Rocco, the guy that played Harry, was in a shit ton of stuff.
Mo Green
he was in
in
The
The
Godfather.
He's in Lady in White. He's in Dream a Little Dream with the Coreys, The Entity. We got Scott Jacoby, who played Josh the director. He's in Little Girl Who Lived Down the Lane, Bad Ronald, The Supernaturals. Robbie, the makeup guy, was in Running Man as Arnold's non-Yaphet Koto helper. Back to the Future 3, Short Circuit, Chud 2. His name's Marvin
Bud the
McIntyre.
Chud 2?
Yeah, he's in Chud 2. Man, Amos, Al Fan. He was in Naked Gun 2, The French Connection, Parasite, Curse 2, and The Fisher King. The police chief was a pro wrestler named Pepper Wright. He was in Ghost Fever with the guy from the Jeffersons, Walking Tall. Castleman. He was in Over the Edge. He was in all those Annette Funicello, Frankie Beach movies. Pump Up the Volume. We got
Beach Blanket Bingo.
We got
stuff.
Richard Farley. He was in 9-6 Evil Part 2 and Ghoulies 4. Dylan, the fat guy eating the sandwich, was in Hellhole and Halloween 2. Donnie Porter, played by Michael Kramer, was in Over the Edge and Weird Science. And Sherry, the one that was getting thrown around like a rag doll, was in Friday Part 6, Teen Witch, and Sharknado 3.
Friday, you mean Friday the 13th?
Yeah, that one.
Friday.
That one.
I was like, I didn't know there was a sixth Friday
next
movie.
Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Next year Friday.
Steven was in Howling 4, Outland, and American Werewolf in London.
What?
Yeah. See?
No,
What did he play in American Werewolf in London?
I didn't
Nothing.
get that. I didn't get that far down.
He was
Not
also
that
in
anyone-
like the Howling Four. What is that? Like the Marsupials or some shit?
I don't know.
well,
Those movies are terrible.
stay
after the
gagged
first
on
one.
George Clooney's dick.
Stay gagged on Proto Cumberbatch.
Stay gagged on plastic bags full of hands with sandwiches in it.
Stay gagged on sandwiches. I
Javelins.
don't like a sandwich, actually.
Gag on a javelin.
And stay gagged on Kathy Castleman's corpse.
That's a good
and
name.
stay gagged on all of our social media: Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me with a Knife Podcast. Twitter is Gag Knife Pod, and buy our merch at gagmewithaknifepodcast.com. You can become a member of our Patreon, and we'll do member shout outs. And other stuff, bonus episodes,
We'll
and
come make your bed.
fan requested movies.
I'll fan you while Nick feeds you
So
grapes.
yeah, and
Yeah,
by the way,
do you like rice pilaf? Because we don't know how to make it.
I make
Yeah.
a mean shrimp scampi.
true. We do need to give a shout out to our first Patreon member, Travis.
Travis.
Hey, Travis, what's up? I'll make you some gazpacho.
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly
Yeah, he is. Keep
All
paying.
right, well, it's the end of our back to school. So
Does that mean we have to go back to school?
no, it means we're done.
I thought we were working on our film studies major, and this was part of our group program.
we will be doing a movie for Travis soon. He wants us to do a Night to Dismember, which looks like
That all, that all
fun,
depends on how much Travis paid.
Samantha Fox.
he paid enough.
All right, Travis.
All right, stay gagged.
We'll do a
and
movie for you.
We'll see you
Samantha
next time.
Bye.
Out of school, thank God.